Hello guys, this is Keddy Studio. As you can see, in front of me is the J3 Cub printing kit. Our studio have flown this plane several times already, but this time, instead of looking at the flight, let's first take a look at the assembly of this plane. First, I would like to introduce our printing material, which is low PLA. This material is relatively light, allowing for a lower flight speed, so we recommend using this material. Then during assembly, we must pay attention to the material as its internal printing may have certain imperfections. For example, the edges might have some protrusions, and at this point we need to use a craft knife to remove these burrs. Especially for the interior, if it needs to be bonded, these areas also need to be removed. Especially for the J3 aircraft, the nose section has a particularly complex structure, resulting in a lot of burrs in this area, so we need to spend extra time dealing with it. My skill is to use a very new utility knife, which is quite sharp, and then scrape along the edges to handle these burrs. Especially for parts like these two hatch covers, the bottom surface tends to have a lot of burrs when printed. If we don't remove the burrs in advance, it will be very difficult to assemble. For instance, right now I can't fit part A into it at all. At this point we need to slightly process this part. Okay, once we have processed the part, we need to assemble it properly and check. Now when I put the two parts together, they can, well, fit together at the back. After we have fixed the parts, we need to bond them. Here, I recommend using CA glue. I have a really good CA glue here, along with their own activator. The purpose of the activator is to speed up the adhesive bonding process. Here, we first start assembling the fuselage, and then we clamp this part together. Once we see that it can be joined, we apply the glue. I have a theory that we should try to apply as little glue as possible, but ensure it covers the entire bonding surface. For this piece, we can see that its edge is the bonding surface, so we should try to apply glue to the opposite side, which is the inside of this part. When applying glue, make sure to do it slowly and try not to get it on the outside. If the glue gets on the outside, it greatly affects the appearance. Alright, after applying the glue, there's no need to rush, as this glue doesn't dry that quickly. We just need to align the parts like we did earlier, then join them together, and then we can take out our activator, which is this bottle. Try to keep a bit of distance, because if you get too close it might damage it when sprayed. Just a little from a certain distance will do, and the same goes for this side. Then you just need to spray the outer circle of glue to cure it, and that's enough. This way we can check that the bonding is in a relatively stable state and the part is usable. Next, we will finish assembling the back part. With that, the fuselage is completed. You can check if it is centered, and once the fuselage assembly is done, we need to install the canopy. We've already trimmed the canopy, but don't forget this important step. Prepare a spring in advance. This spring is used to be installed on its latch, and since the latch needs to reset, you need to fit this spring in completely. Place it inside the canopy, and then install our latch. At this point, check to see if it can reset, and if it can, then prepare the glue. Be careful when applying the glue. Try not to get it on the moving parts, otherwise it might easily get stuck. Therefore, we can first apply the glue on this side. You can see that my glue stops when it gets close to the moving parts. I don't want the glue to seep into the moving parts, as this is a more secure approach. And then after applying the glue, we stick it together. Once installed, promptly spray its activator. You can check it. If there are no issues and it moves smoothly, you can attach it to the aircraft. Okay, next we will assemble our wing section. Be very careful with this part, especially the component in the middle. Its repair is very complex because when this component was printed, it was printed in this direction, which means the bottom surface will have a large fringe, as you can see. This fringe will greatly affect the assembly, so be sure to pay attention again when repairing. Then we fast forward the trim. Okay, after trimming we will assemble. The process is the same as before. We need to apply glue first, then assemble. However, with this component, we need to pay attention. In this position, there is a small support structure that needs to be snapped off. Just a simple snap like this, and there it goes. Leave the trailing edge at the back exposed. This way, when assembling this part of the wing, it can connect perfectly. You can see it adds comfort for assembly. Alright, let's apply the glue. Following this process, the assembly of the plane is almost complete. However, I believe everyone is more concerned about the flight performance of this plane. The basic parameters of this plane will be shown in the diagram. For this plane, we have provided a power configuration with a Sunny Sky 22-212 motor paired with a Hobbywing 20A ESC, with a tested thrust-to-weight ratio greater than 1, a standard 4-channel, and a rear tricycle landing gear with shock absorption. So, how is the actual flight experience? Come, let's enjoy its flying performance. As you can see, the J3 can perform various maneuvers with great ease. Thanks to the ultra-lightweight material, the takeoff of this plane is particularly smooth. But as for the landing, let's just say it's my lack of skill. To satisfy everyone's curiosity, we also printed a set of J3 Cub using regular materials, specifically regular PLA and regular PTG materials. First, PTG did not disappoint, as it disintegrated directly during the flight. And PLA also struggled to fly, with the heavier flight weight making landing particularly difficult. I have to say low PLA is indeed the way to go. The flight experience was like a nostalgic return to the first model plane I flew back in school. Not only is it small and lightweight, but most importantly, the entire setup is quite affordable. We have also compiled a complete configuration list of the plane here, which you can pause to refer to. However, having said all this aircraft does have quite a few issues, mainly concentrated on some installation designs. First of all, I believe the most impactful factor on the flight throughout the process is this V-shaped rubber band strap. It's quite obvious that this rubber band cannot hold the wings as it is not securely fixed, making it very easy for the aircraft to lose control during actual flight. For example, in models like the J3, the wings would have a strut, but 3DLabPrint did not include one, which is quite unfortunate. Additionally, due to the unique design of this aircraft, we haven't found a suitable reference yet, so for now let's assume 3DLabPrint just drew it casually. This would cause the aircraft's lift line to sway back and forth, making it very prone to stalling. Therefore, I strongly recommend shifting the aircraft's center of gravity as far forward as possible to ensure a better flying experience. Moreover, the installation of the tail wheel is quite impractical. Without additional support structures, it is difficult to secure properly. Hence, I hope that those who purchase this aircraft kit pay close attention to securing the tail wheel. Otherwise, you'll have to attempt a hand launch like we did. Finally, the entire studio gives this J3 Cub small aircraft a recommendation score of 3.5 stars. This single-wing propeller aircraft is not only cost-effective, but also very suitable for beginners. Additionally, since it's available for free from the official site, you can purchase it for free by logging into the 3Lab website, so we highly recommend everyone to give it a try. That concludes all the main content of this video. Finally, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting content. See you in the next episode.